moments in life that test your patience, your character, and your ability to forgive. For me, one such moment unfolded at Tushikamani Secondary School in Morogoro Municipality, Tanzania, a place that would forever be etched in my memory. Before I resigned to pursue my passion, I worked as a teacher in a school that, to my surprise, had an unusually high number of female teachers. The ratio was something like 1 male teacher for every 5 female teachers. And while this could have been a perfect scenario for camaraderie and collaboration, it often presented unique challenges. As a man surrounded by so many women, I found myself in a position where I was more of a listener than a speaker, a passive observer in many conversations. As women, as you know, are natural-born communicators. But there was one day, one extraordinary day, that would change everything. And it's a day I will never forget. In Tanzania's public schools, the management doesn't supply basic toiletries like toilet paper, so teachers are left to carry their own supplies. It's a small, yet significant detail of daily life, and one that shaped the way hygiene was perceived in our school. The women in the staff room would always carry their own toilet paper, as if it were just another item in their purse or bag, while I, being a male teacher, never thought much of it. I assumed it wasn't something I needed to worry about, at least not in the same way they did. But on this particular day, I decided to pack a roll of toilet paper in my bag for personal use, just in case. The staff room was an interesting space, a mix of personalities, laughter, and the occasional drama. I shared a desk with a teacher named Anita, not her real name, a woman who was pregnant at the time, her belly rounding out with the imminent arrival of a new life. Anita, like the other female teachers, always carried a roll of toilet paper in her bag, a sign of the subtle but ever-present need for personal hygiene. But then there was Mwajuma, not her real name, another female teacher who had a habit of never carrying her own toilet paper. Instead, she would rely on the generosity of her colleagues, often borrowing from Anita or anyone else within reach. On this day, however, Mwajuma's actions would lead to an unforgettable series of events. Without warning, Mwajuma took the entire roll of toilet paper from Anita's bag and disappeared with it. A minute later, I opened my own bag to grab the roll I had packed, needing it for personal use. At that exact moment, Ashura, another teacher, caught sight of me. I didn't think much of it. I was simply taking care of my own needs, just as anyone would. But then, the storm hit. Anita, rushing back to the staff room after class, was eager to grab her toilet paper, only to find it missing. She was stunned, confused, and immediately started shouting, demanding to know who had taken her toilet paper. "Who took my toilet paper?" she cried. Without missing a beat, Ashura pointed at me, and with that, the accusation was made. "It's George," she said, her words cutting through the air. The moment Anita heard my name, all reason seemed to vanish. She was furious, her emotions running wild. She started throwing insults my way, her voice rising with anger. In her pregnant state, with only weeks to go before childbirth, she was practically ready to fight me. The situation escalated quickly, and before I knew it, I was caught in a whirlwind of accusations, my innocence drowned out by the chaos. I stood there, shocked, trying to explain, but Anita was not interested in hearing my side of the story. She was on a rampage, and I, the only male in the staff room, had become the target. I knew I had to remove myself from the situation. I walked out of the staff room, my heart heavy with the unfairness of it all. I had done nothing wrong, yet I was the one being punished. 5 minutes later, Mwajuma returned, smiling sheepishly as she handed the roll of toilet paper back to Anita. "Here," she said innocently. I took it by mistake. The room went silent. Every teacher in that space, all the women who had been caught up in the drama, looked on in stunned disbelief. Anita, now realizing her mistake, stood speechless, unable to say a word. Ashura, her face full of remorse, approached me with tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry, George," she whispered, her voice shaking. "Please forgive me." It was one of the most humbling moments of my life. I could have lashed out. I could have demanded justice, but instead, I chose to forgive. The petty arguments, the misunderstandings, they all seemed so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. I smiled, nodded, and forgave them both. But I also made a decision that would shape the rest of my time at the school. I no longer felt comfortable in that staff room. I wasn't just the lone male teacher anymore. I had become a symbol of something more. I decided to set up an office under a tree, away from the drama, away from the chaos. It was a small gesture, but one that gave me peace. Anita and I became friends again, and so did I with Ashura and Mwajuma. They were no longer just my colleagues. They were women I had learned to understand better. Flawed, yes, but also human. It wasn't my forgiveness that bound us together. It was my ability to hold my ground with tolerance and grace, despite being wrongly accused. In the end, that's what brought us closer. Not the apology, but the unspoken respect that grew between us. That day I learned a lesson I'll never forget. It's easy to react in anger, but it takes real strength to remain calm in the face of injustice. And in the end, it's our ability to forgive, not just with words but with our actions, that truly defines who we are.